And he goes, they sold those at Neiman Marcus for $750. And I'm like,
Geez, the cell phone covers must be $1,000.
I was like, she doesn't even like Kiss. Can I have one? And then he gave me one too.
No.
But Scott, here's the thing though. You went there with your fiance.
Yes.
And I've seen posts. She's a pretty girl.
Yes.
You went there with a pretty girl.
And he's
Sebastian
known her since she's like 8.
So that's even for him. That's probably even more of a turn on, right?
Wait, I got to tell this story really quick too. I don't want to make this whole thing about Kiss, but this is a good one because we talked about.
How could it be about anything else with us in the room?
No, but this is in '96 on the reunion tour, right? That he totally took care of me. Like every show I went to, I had first row, second row, whatever. So I'm going to Vegas with a whole crew of my friends. There's 10 of us. We're going to the weekend to see them play Vegas. Long story short. I don't expect to get free tickets for 10 people. I show up at the hotel room where the lady who has the tickets is, and Bret Michaels is in there in front of me, and he's arguing with her because he has to pay for his tickets. She's like, I'm sorry, this has nothing to do with me. There's no comps. You have to pay, blah,
What
blah,
show
blah.
is this?
This was Kiss in '96 in Vegas.
Oh, my
God.
God.
I was there. I remember that.
Yeah,
They had a hotel room just for the tickets.
And Sandy, I think it was Sandy Rizzo, who was from at the time.
Management.
Yeah, and so Brett's like, don't you know that? She's like, Brett, I'm sorry. It's out of my hands. There's no comps. You have to pay for your tickets, right? So he gets his wallet, he buys his tickets, whatever. So I walk up, and I'm like, hey, Sandy. She's like, hey, Scott. She finds my envelope. She opens it up. She goes, wow, Gene must love you. I'm like, why? She goes, he comped all 10 of your tickets. And Brett was still in the room. I was like, yeah! I was like, yes, metal rules.
See you later.
I sat next to Brett at that show, actually. I remember that.
He was pissed.
Here's something to believe in.
He was with Pamela Anderson then, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, he got Pamela Anderson.
Yeah.
You got 10
Can we
tickets.
talk about Ted
Second row
Nugent?
center.
Hold on,
Let's talk about democracy.
Let's take a break and talk about Supergroup, because if Axel walks in here, it's all over, because there's not ever going to be any more Supergroup going on.
Yeah, really.
And speaking of, since you, Scott and Sebastian, are both obviously Kiss fanatics, what would now Sebastian actually, when he walks into the room in Supergroup and sees Ted there, actually falls to his knees in excitement.
Tears were in his eyes.
No, I'm not. That's not a lie.
No, it's not. I'm not
great.
making fun. I'm not making
No,
fun
not
at
at
all.
all.
I mean, he was excited to see me, and then he saw Ted, and it was just like, because I was the same way. I was excited to see Evan because I'm like, all right, I got a bro in the house. And then as I got like another foot down the hallway, and I could see a little more of the room, and I saw Ted there, I was like, oh my God. Just like, I'm in a band with Ted Nugent.
Dude, my father gave me 2 albums when I was 8 for Christmas, or 9 or 10, I can't remember. Kiss Alive, and then he didn't wrap them. He just went and laid them on me. Kiss Alive.
What, did he give you promos?
And then the next one was Ted Nugent, Weekend Warriors, with him shooting the gun.
I used to have that on the back of my denim jacket.
Oh, that's killer,
That's what's
dude.
on the pinball machine, right?
Yeah, so I was the lead singer in the church choir, Anglican All Saints Choir in Canada.
I went to Anglican church, too.
Really?
Yeah, man.
And I used to I was a soprano, and I would carry my Ted Nugent record to choir practice and sit there, and I would just say, you guys, look at this, man. And people would gather around and just look at Ted, man.
It's a guitar with a shotgun.
Like, it's so cool, man.
Yeah,
it's just, he's such a great guy, man.
So was Kiss and Nugent both your guys' favorite bands when you were growing up?
A Cheap Trick.
Yeah, same, dude.
Cheap
it's
Trick.
insane. We talked about this yesterday.
We have the same taste, man.
Like growing up, for
Totally.
me, those years, like for me, 77, 78. Kiss, Ted Nugent, Cheap Trick.
Cheap Trick. I wanted to be
ruled my
Robin
life.
Zander, totally.
That's
dude.
cool.
Dream Police album flips me out. Gonna Raise Hell.
Yeah.
Awesome
Amazing
song.
If you guys
Awesome
walked
song.
into the Supergroup, the first episode, and you walked into that room, and one of the members of Kiss or one of the members of Cheap Trick were in the band, would it have been even more impressive than Nugent, or on the same level?
Is
there anyone in a fantasy situation who would be the guy?
Well, like if I would have walked in and it was
Ace.
Ace Frehley, I would have crapped my pants just as much.
I
Let's
had a vivid dream the night before that I walked in, and it was a totally vivid dream of the Ace was in his '79 Dynasty costume, a fully vivid dream. He's
Scott wears almost that
like,
cape
hey,
in the
buddy.
Supergroup,
but it was that exact costume, the '79 one with the big flowing cape. He's like, "Hey, Bubby, what's up?"
Did you guys have like thoughts about who it might be that would be in the band?
I thought it was going to be Zakk Wylde.
Really?
Actually, yeah.
Just because you just had a feeling, or
I don't know. Yeah, kind of.
And how about you, Scott?
I as soon as when I was pitched the show and I agreed to do it and I started thinking about it, my 2 guesses for singers were Sebastian and Dee. Because Gilmer, actually, Bruce Gilmer from VH1, one of the first times I talked to you guys about it, he said a little too much by saying, I asked, has anyone else confirmed? They said the singer is confirmed. And they said it's someone, that our audience loves and does a lot of stuff on the channel. I'm like, okay, Sebastian or D.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
But that's who I probably would. And Rob Halford was in my brain too, and that was like one of those things. Like, God, imagine if I got to be in a band with Rob Halford.
Dude, I'd rather be in a band with Rob Halford than me anyway.
Because the thing is that if we explained it, they didn't know who was in the house.
Right, I said that, yeah, absolutely. Right. I got to do a break. We're late for a break. Let's do this break, and then we'll come back. Chris Jericho's here. So my co-host, Sebastian Bach, is here. Scott Ian is here. We just had a phone call from Axl Rose, believe it or not. It's surreal to say that, but that actually happened. If you tuned in late, you just missed Axl Rose on this show.
But
swear to God.
Tuned, though. You never
Thanks
know.
to Sebastian Bach.
Right
I owe you forever, man. That is beyond huge. And we've invited him, and he said he's going to come here. So if Axl walks into this room, it's going to be a ridiculous moment in history.
All hell's breaking loose.
I may actually get some other major cities to add this show now. Thank you, Sebastian.
You're welcome. Where's my cut?
Exactly.
I'll give you.
Well,
I'll give
where's
you.
Axl's cut?
In the words of the
We'll give you
Godfather,
1,000,
I too want to wet
$1.
my beak. I missed that. What'd you say, Jericho?
Oh, that's a whole other story. Well, we'll tell
Is there a
it.
Canadian
We'll
come
tell
back?
it.
Another Canadian
Can I
thing?
tell a quick story?
No, let me take the break and we'll
my
come
God.
back. We'll be right back after this. Can we paint the scene here about what's about to happen? Because Sebastian just went running out of the room and claims he's going to receive Axl
Apparently,
Rose.
we just got a phone call that says he's on his way, which is pretty. It's pretty mind blowing.
It's beyond huge.
It's very
Yeah.
surreal.
It is.
It
It
is.
is. I mean, I think the last time I actually saw this guy, I mean, it's got to be early '90s or something. I think maybe on Use Your Illusion or even before that. I mean, I haven't seen or talked to him in ages.
Did you ever play any shows with Guns N' Roses at all?
Never. No, we never actually played together. No. I was.
Is he with you or not?
I was just taking a whiz.
Oh.
Sebastian just opened the door. I was like,
No, I had
Will
to
was
take
silent.
a whiz. I was just taking a whiz. I'm sorry.
Sebastian just took
But it is pretty cool. I mean, you think. I mean, it's the fact that he would like show up and just come here and like hang out and spin records and
It's beyond
And eat
cool.
pizza.
well,
It's pretty cool.
let's make sure that let's
Can I be honest?
keep our fingers crossed because.
Dude, can I tell you something? I honestly, probably like the rest of the planet, I never knew.
Wait, I'm not hearing you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know this isn't on, really.
It's on now. You just weren't on it.
I never thought, like the rest of the world, I didn't know if I'd ever see him ever again in my life. Like, ever. I didn't know. It was,
Well, you called it the best today. You said that he's the Howard Hughes of rock and roll.
Yeah.
He's the Howard Hughes of planet Earth.
He has been a hermit.
Not now.
Who has seen him over the last, besides that MTV thing he did like 3 years ago,
Well, I
right?
saw him at the Garden.
Oh,
I
he
was
did
at that
a
show
short tour.
a couple years ago.
But in
yeah.
the last 4 years, he hasn't really been doing
Izzy
much.
saw him a couple times in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, Izzy, Anthrax's manager. You were hanging with him, right, Izzy?
You know what I think's so crazy, though, and amazing? That, wait, that's 2 Aerosmith songs in one sentence.
He's on a roll.
Crazy and amazing.
2 bad Aerosmith songs in one sentence.
With his
Yeah,
hot
exactly.
daughter in the
But-
video.
No, but
Ain't
it's
exactly rats in the cellar, Baz.
like, he stays away.
You're a rat, Sebastian.
He stays away for like over 10 years, and then like People Magazine does a survey of like teenagers of America, who's the coolest person in the world, and Axl Rose is like number 2 or something, or number 1,
See,
I
it's-
think.
it's-
I'd
it's-
say,
It's been so long since Guns N' Roses put out a record that they're now cool in a retro way.
dude, they've always been cool.
But now
Always.
even more so.
They were never not cool though.
And let me just say something to the radio stations that run this show. Thank you, and there's a little something for you. And for the ones who don't take this show, and I don't know if it fits the demographic and it's right, and I'm gonna, you know what? Take
You
that,
lose.
son of a gun!
You
Oh,
lose.
Sebastian Bach, ladies and gentlemen! Oh!
Thank you, Sebastian.
All these program directors I got to talk to. Well, you made Alienate this one and that one. Axl Rose was just on the show.
I got your Alienate right
I
here.
got your Alienate.
Alienate this.
Oh my
so
God!
cool. Okay, let's talk about Ted Nugent. Are we getting him on the phone?
Right, he's got to call us. He's in Alaska.
Should we call him on the
How
cell?
bizarre
Let me ask you a
Wait,
question. What if
hey,
What
Should
if
I call him
Ted
on the
calls
cell?
It's his magic cell phone.
You want to call?
But what if
Can you get us Jim Morrison on the show right now?
Or
But
Bon
Eddie-
Scott. Let's get Bon Scott on the phone.
Get Bon Scott, Cliff Burton, and John Bonham will have another supergroup.
Oh my Lord!
Sebastian Bach is my new talent booker for
Yeah,
the show.
really.
But Eddie, let me ask you this. Here's a conundrum. What if Axl walks in and during Axl's reign in here,